Howdy, for this video, I'm going to start a new tutorial series of how to create a world from scratch. I'm currently in the process of converting everything from a Grim Hollow campaign guide into a world for Foundry. So I just pretty much was just going to show you how to start a world from scratch. So first we're going to create a character. So I'm just going to create an NPC. So for this one, what we'll do is we'll go to create an actor. It's going to give you an option. We're going to do NPC. And I guess I should put a name, shouldn't I? So we'll do test. I'm gonna basically remake the Blood Knight from scratch so you can see how to go through it. So when you first open it up, you pretty much just get a blank slate. So I have the campaign guide for Grim Hollow set up right next to me so that I can kind of flip back and forth between the two. So he's got an 18 strength, 12 dex, 17, 10, 9, and 8. So pretty much you just work your way down and 10, and then a 9, whoops, and then 8. He has 75 hit points, and he is chaotic evil, and he is undead for the type. Source I usually do, so it's going to be the Grim Hollow campaign guide. His senses or languages he speaks uncommon and primordial. As I find it, there's primordial. Senses, he has 60 feet of blind sight. Submit that. Damage immunities, I want to say he's immune to poison and psychic. And we'll do poison and psychic. I know he has resistances to non-magical physical, and as well as, yep, I think that's just that. And then he's immune to just about almost every condition. And he's immune to blinded, charmed. Let's say, was it deafened, frightened, paralyzed? Yep. So deafened, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned. And I think stunned as well. So, and then stunned. So he has that. Doesn't have any special traits. Also, in your senses, it'll usually have whatever their passive perception is, which you can usually see right here. Like I said, it's 9 matches. And for features, he's going to, I pretty much just go to the items in the standard SRD. He uses a long sword as his main weapon. He has plate mail for his armor and uses a shield. And that will get his AC up to where it belongs. So he also has just a couple just features that he'll use for it. So he has magic resistance, regeneration, multi-attack, and you could also adjust the challenge rating. So it says challenge rating's 4. So I think the easiest way to actually get some of the features from things like the regeneration and like the magic resistance, things like that, is find other creatures that have those abilities and then just kind of like migrate them over and then just kind of change the words around a little bit. So I went ahead and already found a troll which has regeneration, and I imported the creature, and then I found a flesh golem which has magic resistance. So what you would just do is you would go to the monsters, you would look up something, so like we know trolls have regeneration, you would pull up the troll, just click import, and then it'll add it to your it'll add it to the list of actors. So once you get in there, you can go into magic resistance. You can adjust this, type this out, and change this to the Blood Knight. And they'll have all, make sure you don't have any words that are mixed in there. Like sometimes if you don't take out like troll or, flesh golem or whatever, that it'll show up in the text. So you remove that. So the regeneration, because the wording on it is different than the standard regeneration, that one I usually just copy and paste the text in. Whoops, got a little too much. And copy that, paste that one in, and I usually highlight this, the big thing. That way I know what to focus on. So he's got the 10 hit points as long as he has that remaining, and then the Blood Knight regains that, so save that. He also gets multi-attack, which I forgot to add multi-attack, so I add that from the troll, and we'll adjust that. And same thing, I just take and copy and paste the info from this, copy that, this one in here, remove this old text, save this. Okay, and all we have left to do is to make sure that the weapon and everything is good. and then we'll add some pictures and everything to kind of flesh this guy out. So make sure weapon-wise everything's good. So it's set up for just default. His strength mod should be the primary one for this since it's this type of weapon. And so what we're going to do for the picture is I have already took the picture art that is on in the actual Grim Hollow book, and what I usually do is I'll find whatever picture I'm looking for. So this is the picture of the Blood Knight. So then I'll just do like a print screen and get this picture, and I'll just copy and paste it into Paint, and then I'll kind of crop it out so that I get like a good solid image. And then once I have this image, I just named it BK for the Blood Knight. Then I'll take it over to this website that I've been using for a while. It's just called Roll Advantage. I'll link it in the description so you can do it yourself. And I pretty much just use this same circle as my default one. You can do it, you can customize them. So if you have like a certain color that you would want to do, you know, if you're like, I want all of mine to look red or whatever, so you can customize them to make them look however you want. So like if you wanted like a blood red picture, that would work. So, but I really like this one. I think it's just kind of a cool picture. So I'll choose an image. So I have this Blood Knight right here, and then I'll kind of center it around till I get a spot that I like. If I really want it to focus on a face, like if I have like a really cool character art like that, you can kind of zoom in. But I actually kind of liked the big profile having, you know, a good little section like that. And then once you kind of get the image kind of where you want it, you just click download. It'll default naming it like token_1, and then if you don't ever change the name, it'll just keep adding numbers to it. But then if you could go into your downloads afterwards, and you could rename it whatever you want. So you could just be like, you know, Blood Knight. And then once that's done, you have your image. And then when you get to the character, you just go to the image, the mystery man. And then since this is my base world, I had to create a folder for characters. And then he's the first one I've done so far. So I just did 001 Blood Knight. And then I pick an image, and I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to pick my Blood Knight token, upload that, select that one, and then when you upload a picture that just had the Mystery Man icon, it'll automatically put it for the prototype token. But if you're changing the images a lot, then sometimes you'll have to go into the prototype token to make sure that your image moved over. If not, then you would have to go through and select it again. So you would just select the Blood Knight token, or, you know, if you had one that you liked a little bit better, like if you had one that focused more on the face, then you could pick multiple tokens and it would work that way. So also, once you're in the prototype token category, you can use that to adjust things that you want it. So I don't want my token's name to be Test, I want it to be Blood Knight. And I may or may not want my character's name to be displayed. Maybe I want it to only me, since I'm the owner, only I see what it says. Or maybe sometimes I want my players to know what it is, especially if they've ran into the character multiple times, and you can reveal it so that every time they hover over them, they can see it. But especially if it's a character they've never met before, they obviously wouldn't know what their name is. So, but the represented actor too will be whenever they attack and you see it in the chat window, that'll be what their name is the represented actor. There is a way that you can set it up in, I believe it's MIDI Quality of Life. When you create a character, there's an option that it'll actually say to use the token's name. So if you actually want your name, your token, something specific, and use the token's name, then you can check that box, and then it'll add the whatever you write as their token. And so other than that, you only got to do is set up their vision, if they actually have vision. So we obviously know he's got 60 feet of blind sight. So the best way to do blind sight is actually to give them bright vision. If they had dark vision, then you would do the dim vision. But since it's like blind sight, true sight, ones like that, it's best to do it as the bright vision. And resources, I always like them to be able to see the health bar. So what I usually do is I'll do hover by anyone, and I'll set the HP attribute to that. And we'll click update. And we are done. We have completely created a new character. And then what I also do too, especially if they have any kind of biography or any kind of info on the character, I'll go back. And so for this one, it was actually right here at this little bubble here. So I'll copy and paste this little bit of info, and I'll put it in the biography, and I'll paste that in there. And then also what I'll do is I'll actually take my original image that I had with my one that I copied to make my token, and I'll actually usually make I'll go into my journal entries, and I'll create NPCs, and then I'll take whatever the picture I want, especially that big picture, and I'll upload into this. So what you would just do is you would just create a new entry. So you just do test, and then it'll just be just a blank slate, and then you could go up here to image, and then it'll just be blank down here. So then you can just go down there. I just use my same Blood Knight folder for all the images that I'm going to use for that specific token, and then I'll add that image. So I just had my BK image, and I would select that, and I would upload and just click the checkbox. And then what you would do is, while you still have the edited text in the biography, if you actually take and drag the test right here, and so I'll just unbold this and click save, it'll actually have a little icon right here. So whenever you pull up the character, so let's say you have the character on the map, and you wanted to say, you give a description what the character looks like, and then you could go to the biography and click this, and then you could send it out and show to your players so they can kind of see what you're talking about, and it kind of creates a nice little fun description, and as well as it gives them a good visual, so that way they're not just relying solely on the token, which, I mean, if you do a good job building your token and making it look the way you want it, they can get a good idea of the way it looks. But it's also cool when they have the big picture character art, so they can kind of see what they're dealing with. And then once you have them here, this world is like bare bones. Like, there's nothing. I have almost no modules loaded on it right now, so I have to do everything the hard way. So when he attacks, like, I don't have my token action hood, I don't have anything that I normally have up on any of my videos. So when he would attack, does his normal attack roll, and his was actually 1d20 plus 6, so there's his plus 4 and 2 for his proficiency, and then his strength mod, and then he would roll the damage, and so on and so forth, and the damage rolled. And then, because I don't have it set the way I normally do, I would have to sit there and apply all the damage and everything. But that's going to do it for this one. I am going to pretty much do just a complete top-down world build of just creating a bare bones world, and just hit every single tab of this menu, and go over everything in great detail, and show exactly how you make and do everything. It's going to take me many videos to do it, but I'm looking forward to it, and I think it should be pretty fun, especially help people that are just kind of get started out and want to kind of learn how to set it up, especially with something that's not already done for you. Like, you could go on like Roll20, and you can convert, if you went on and like wanted to buy the Curse of Strahd campaign on Roll20, then you could use the Roll20 converter and put it on the Foundry, and it does a lot of the work for you. But with something like me doing like Grimhollow, where there's nothing like that, I have to do everything from scratch. So I felt like this would be a good opportunity to be able to like show that and how you build everything. But other than that, I think this is going to be a fun little series. But until then, if you need anything, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.